Our life revolves around the problems we have and want to solve. It is a constant search for happiness. If we solve all our problems, we will have nothing to worry about, and our life will be peaceful and happy. There will be no room for suffering. We all aspire to achieve this in our life because our goal is to be happy. But I think we approach the problem wrong. Thinking of solving everything that worries us is a mistake, as it is impossible. We will always have new preoccupations in our life that will replace the old ones. You are probably thinking that it is impossible to be happy and live without suffering. But I tell you that it is totally possible and within everyone's reach. The Stoics found the solution to this problem. A solution that personally changed my life and my way of understanding things. And I hope that once you understand it, it will have the same effect on you. What I am about to tell you is the pillar of Stoic thinking and can serve you for absolutely everything that happens to you in life. I am talking about the dichotomy of control. The dichotomy of control consists of differentiating between what we can control and what we cannot control. You may be wondering, how can I use the dichotomy of control in my life? Don't worry, because in this video I will explain in depth what the dichotomy of control is, and I will give you examples and practical exercises so you can start incorporating this incredible tool in your life. Epictetus, one of the most important Stoic philosophers, was very clear about the importance of the dichotomy of control in his life. In his own words, the main task in life is simply this: to identify and separate problems so that I can clearly tell myself which external ones are not under my control and which ones have to do with choices that I do control. It's an easy concept to understand, separating the things we can control from the things we can't, and which things are under our control, our thoughts and actions, and which things are not under our control, everything else. If we dig a little deeper into the dichotomy of control, we realize that there are actually three categories of events: those that are totally under our control, those that are partially under our control, and those that are not under our control. Being kind to others is totally under our control. Being healthy is partially under our control. And having the sun rise tomorrow is not under your control. Differentiating these three things is important. We should focus on what we can control, such as being kind to others or taking care of our health. And we should stop worrying about what we can't control. Now that you know what the dichotomy of control is, let's look at how we should use it to stop worrying in our lives. Imagine you are not feeling well, and you decide to go to the hospital for medical tests. After the tests, the doctors tell you that they will have the test results in 2 days. You return home and start to worry about your health, since you don't know how serious what you have is. You are suffering because you think you may have a serious illness that will seriously affect your life. After 2 days of suffering because of the uncertainty, your medical results come back, and it turns out that you are healthy and well, and you begin to feel at ease. Then you start to feel at ease. Has all your worry and suffering helped? No, you have suffered for no reason. But what if the result of your medical tests had been that you had a serious health problem? Exactly the same thing. All you get is to suffer twice, once before you receive your results, and once after you receive them. By this, I do not mean that it is not normal to worry in this type of situation. I simply believe that in this case we have done what was in our control, which was to go for medical tests. But suffering for a result that is beyond our control does not make any sense. That unnecessary suffering is not going to change the outcome for better or worse. So, wouldn't it be smarter to stay calm until you know the outcome? By doing so, you avoid unnecessary suffering in the process. This is a clear example of how the dichotomy of control can help us in our lives. A normal person would not stop suffering until he knows the outcome, but a Stoic remains calm because he knows that the outcome does not depend on him. In Seneca's words, we suffer more often in our imagination than in reality. If we have a problem, but we have total control over how to solve it, why should we worry? And if we have a problem, but we have no control over how to solve it, why should we worry? Either way, worrying only creates unnecessary suffering for us. Not worrying does not mean not caring. It means accepting the problem and looking for a solution if it depends on you. Accepting that something depends on you leads you to proactivity, to try to change what you don't like. But it also means not getting frustrated if the situation is beyond your control. You cannot control the outcome of an event, but you can do your best to bring the outcome closer to what you want. As for the example above, we could strive to lead a healthy life in order to reduce the likelihood of having a serious illness. Although we can influence the outcome of certain events in our lives, we should not get frustrated if things do not turn out the way we want them to. We must remember that there are things that are beyond our absolute control. We have the example of an archer shooting an arrow at a target. The archer may have the best stance, the best bow and the straightest arrow, but the moment the archer shoots the arrow, it is no longer up to him whether the arrow ends up in the center of the target. A gust of wind may blow and deflect the arrow, or an animal may intercept the arrow, or the target may fall to the ground because it was not properly fastened. Anything can affect the outcome of something you try. Something that is not up to you can prevent you from achieving your goal. And it wouldn't be your fault. But if you don't do your best, you have failed before you even try, because all you can do is focus on what you can control and do your best to make the end result close to what you want. All this applies to any situation in your life. A job interview, a relationship with another person, trying to pass an exam. Don't focus on always winning, rather focus on doing the best you can. What happens if after doing your best to achieve something, you fail? The most common reaction would be to get frustrated, angry or sad. But does feeling all this really do you any good? I'm sure you think that all these emotions are justified because we are human and we feel emotions. That's normal, but animals feel emotions too. It is much more human to think than to feel emotions. Like it or not, our ability to get angry is not what makes us unique as a species. What makes us special is our ability to think. Thinking has moved us up the food chain, not feeling emotions like sadness or anger. Therefore, as humans we have the ability to decide how we act in any given situation. Remember the dichotomy of control. What has happened in the past cannot be changed, so there is no point in suffering from it. What is in your control is how you will act in the future, so that failure does not happen again. Despite all this, the Stoics understood that there is always an initial emotional response to any situation, and this emotional response cannot be controlled. The Stoics call this proto-passions. For example, imagine that you have been studying for months for a very important exam, but after trying so hard the day of the exam you get sick and fail the exam. The initial reaction would be rage or anger, because after so much effort you have failed and over something that did not depend on you. But after that initial moment of anger, you have to decide whether to let yourself be carried away by negative emotions or decide to apply the dichotomy of control. At first, it will take longer to control our emotions, but with practice, our proto-passions will last less and less time. Once we have gained a deep understanding of the dichotomy of control, it is crucial that we use it to transform negative situations into positive ones. Everything that has already happened cannot be changed. We have no control over it, but we do have control over how we react to it. This can make the difference between victory and defeat, between excellence and mediocrity. A novice Stoic uses the dichotomy of control so as not to suffer unnecessarily. But an expert Stoic uses the dichotomy of control to learn from his mistakes and improve by understanding what things are under his control and therefore can change. For over 2,000 years, Stoic philosophers have been applying the dichotomy of control to their lives, using this tool to be happier, suffer less, and improve as people. And now you have the possibility, just like them, to apply it in your life. I propose an exercise for you to practice. Make a list of all the problems you have in your life, all the things that affect you negatively. Once you have made that list, separate the problems you have written down into two groups, one for the problems you cannot control, and the other for the problems you have full or partial control over. Once you have divided your list of problems, accept and forget all the ones on the list that are beyond your control, and with the list of problems over which you have some control, write next to each problem what you can do to solve it. This will give you a better view of the problems you have in your life and will help you look for solutions and face your life with more peace of mind. Try to apply this in your daily life to the problems you are having. You will see how, with practice, you will begin to live more calmly and learn from your mistakes. What did you think about the dichotomy of control? Would you like me to make a video about another Stoic topic that interests you? I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Before you go, I would appreciate it if you like the video, as this way you help me to reach more people with this philosophy. If you don't want to miss any video, subscribe and hit the bell. I hope the content of this video is useful to you, just as it has been useful to me. Here are 2 videos full of Stoic wisdom that I'm sure you'll like. See you next time.